We good to go? Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's February 5th, 2026, approximately 10:45 in the morning. I'm Mike Kelly, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners of Johnson County, Kansas. We are here sitting as the Public Building Commission of Johnson County, Kansas. And I ask the clerk at this time to please take the roll.
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, here.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, here.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Here.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Allenbrand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
I'm present. All are present. At this time, we'll move on to our first item of business, which is consideration of the October 23rd, 2025 special PBC business session minutes. Are there any comments or questions about those minutes that are in your packet? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve those? Commissioner Allenbrand?
I move to approve the minutes as written.
Brewer, second.
So moved by Commissioner Allenbrand and seconded by Commissioner Brewer. Seeing no questions at this time, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Allenbrand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 7 in favor and none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Great. At this time, we'll move on to project updates. We'll hear from Tony Barron, Director of Facilities, regarding our major capital projects. Mr. Barron, welcome back.
Thank you, Chairman Kelly and Commissioners. Yeah, today I want to talk about the project update, PBC projects. Primarily, we have two somewhat major projects going, the detention center security upgrade and the health services building. Today, I want to focus on the health services building. I have a slide deck prepared for you that I would like to share. Thank you, Jenny. Okay. So here for our health services update, you are very familiar with this project. I've been up here several times in my tenure with Johnson County talking about it. So today I just want to give you a status update on where we're at with progress. If you look on the timeline here, we started this project, active construction site work, back in Q1 of 2025. Today we are landing in Q2 of 2026. You can see the structure. If you're driving by 119th in Ridgeview, you'll notice the structure is almost complete. Looking ahead, we have an evergreen relocation here towards the end of Q2 of 2026, which is somewhat of an important milestone because once they are moved on to their new site, we are going to demolish that half of the building so we can continue to work through our phased approach. From there, hoping to have we're not hoping, we will have the exterior complete. They're about Q3 of 2026, and then at the same time, you'll start to see that demolition work take place here in the next couple months. Still shooting for a phase one move-in, HSB demolition at that time in 27, and then final move-in Q3 of 2027. Right here, as you can see, we have the view from Ridgeview on this, and I'm going to bear with me here. I'm going to try something new. Right here, you'll see. Oops, I punched the wrong one. Look at that. Let me do a different one here. Right here, you'll see the Evergreen Complex right there, and this is facing due north, right this way. So we have that to look at as we progress. The drone flyover is going to progress to the west here. You'll see a courtyard right in this area right here, and so that'll be something we want to highlight. The main entrance of this is the Clearview Story, which is right in the middle right here. And as I highlighted the Evergreen area earlier, that's going to be where the parking lot's going to be for phase one and the entrance while we continue to build out and keep the DHE in their building. So with that being said, I'm going to progress on to this. It's about a 1 minute and 48 second fly through a drone clip. So I'll talk through it as we move around. They said so far progress has been good. We had lunch with the contractor yesterday to celebrate one of the structural components, which was a topping ceremony, and I'll share pictures of that here pretty soon. But as we look to the west, you can see the double story here, and you can see as we go looking from the west to east, you'll see the courtyard area, which will be developed in that little gap there between the buildings. Moving ahead, we're flying over the current health services building. It's really an impressive structure. If you have not driven by yet, I would highly recommend driving down 119th. The building itself, the site itself is located somewhat on a hill, which makes it a little bit impressive when it's sitting high, and the views from the office space is going to be beautiful. So, and what you're looking at right now at the bottom of the screen is going to be our dock area, and that's where we're going to get most of our deliveries that are going to come into the space. So. So there's the view of that. I want to also talk about what we celebrated last week was a topping ceremony. It's a kind of a ceremonial part of a construction project is when you put the last beam up. You cannot see the signatures on this beam, but on the back side of it, you'll see where staff, Johnson County staff, DHE, facilities, AHS, and mental health were asked to come sign the beam. The great thing about this, some beams are covered by sheetrock or other items, but this beam will be visible from our storage area, our dock area. So you'll always be able to see the people who sign this. The tree does signify the safe completion of the building. It also signifies good luck, growth, and prosperity for future occupants. And I think what's really neat about this, it's a Scandinavian tradition to do this, and it serves as an offering to appease what they would call the tree spirits, and also any trees that were displaced during construction, and also as a sign of environmental respect. So you can see also the American flag and the Kansas flag flying with that. With that being said, I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. Questions on the HSB update? Commissioner Hanslick, excuse me.
Thank you, Mr. Barron. Can you talk a little bit about the Aging and Human Services Nutrition Program kitchen? Where in that building is that located? What will be the size? What will be the amenities in there?
Yes, I can show you the estimated location.
Okay.
And I may have to have Kyle help me here. I
Assume
believe.
it's near the
It's going to be back in
docks,
this area
yeah.
right here, because that's where we're going to have the dock area and the kitchen area. The size of the kitchen, I will have to send you that information later. I don't have that off the top of my head right now. So, but yes, it will be located. It will be located in that area. Most of our office space is going to be over here in these areas. So yes, this will be back towards the dock area, so you'll have easy delivery kind of off the beaten path from the regular traffic coming in. You probably noticed today, it's kind of hard if you notice there's a lot of traffic right out front, right here in this area with the current building, and it kind of interacts with our public traffic. So this will be behind the scenes somewhat in comparison to what it is now.
I appreciate your pointing out the kitchen area, because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is then the docks are where the trucks will pull in to get the food, to take it to various points throughout the county where those meals are then distributed from those various points throughout the county. But with the dock, it can all be initially distributed from this location. Is that
That is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Brewer.
Just for clarification along those kitchen questions, in the building directly to the east of the new building, I think K-State has kind of like a demonstration kitchen when they think about some of they've got the menus out of how do you prepare meals with commodities from food pantries and all that. Those demonstration kitchens the kitchens in the new building, are they, for lack of a better phrasing, they're non-public facing kitchens, they're internal kitchens to do the meal prep for programs associated with Aging and Human Services? Am I understanding that correctly?
You are correct. It is a production kitchen.
Okay.
Yes, it will not be a demonstration.
Okay, thank you.
All right, not seeing any further questions, Mr. Barron. Thanks so much for that update.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'm going to ask that we look at items 3, 4, and 5 on your agenda. This is the presentation of financial statements, as well as statement of net assets and statement of reserves, expenses, and changes in fund net assets. And we welcome back Becky Jones for these 3 items.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Ms. Jones, welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Before you are the December 31st, 2025 financial statements for the PBC. I would just make a note that these are preliminary and unaudited as we continue to close the...
Ms. Jones, we're having a little bit of audio issue. If you wouldn't mind either bring the microphone a little closer and see if that helps.
Is that better?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Sorry about that. So these are the financial statements as of December 31st, 2025. Just as a note, these are preliminary and unaudited as we continue to close the financials for 2025. For the period ending December 31st of 2025, you'll see in your packets two financial statements, the statement of net positions listing the assets and liabilities of the PBC, and the statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund net position. All balances across both of these statements are trending as expected. The statement of net position shows the assets of the PBC, which is a large cash balance of deposits and investments made up of bond proceeds being used to pay for projects and the value of the assets that have already been constructed. The liabilities are essentially the bond debt incurred to construct those buildings, as well as a $1.2 million advance from the county for the Sheriff Operations Center security upgrade that was approved as part of the 2026 CIP. The final net position for the PBC is $292.3 million. This slide represents visually that we have been paying down our debt year over year. The statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in fund net position shows the revenues of the PBC to be the rents charged on the constructed buildings, and the expenses are depreciation on assets and interest expense paid on the bonds. This slide shows the revenue sources that are making up the bond payments via the rents charged. 70% of the buildings currently are being financed related with a public safety sales tax, and that funding stream covers, that tax funding stream covers the payments. The remaining 30% of our buildings receive revenues from countywide, library, and the county building fund for the Arts and Heritage Center. The final two slides relate to interest. Interest income has increased significantly in 2025 due to the increased interest rate received on outstanding bond proceeds. And interest expense has also increased with the issuance of new debt for the Human Services Building. And that concludes my presentation, and I can stand for questions.
Statements, Commissioner Ashcraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Jones, when will the Public Safety Sales Tax 3 bonds be retired?
I believe in 2 years. 27.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on at this time to number 6 on your agenda. This is approving Commissioner Jeff Myers as Secretary of the PBC for 2026. Commissioner Myers and his signature hand have served very well in this role in the past, and it is my honor to volunteer him one more time for this opportunity. Commissioner Allenbrand,
Chair, I have a motion if you're ready.
go ahead.
I move to approve the chairman's appointment of Commissioner Jeff Myers as the Secretary of Public Building Commission for 2026.
Hanslick, second.
Moved by Commissioner Allenbrand, seconded by Commissioner Hanslick. Seeing no further questions, would the clerk call the roll, please?
Commissioner Fast.
Oh, I don't know.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
Yes.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Allenbrand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 7 in favor and none against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Thank you very much. My apologies, Jeff. And on at this time to item number 7. This is considering a contract with Mission Electronics, Inc. for the purchase of audiovisual equipment and services for the Johnson County Courthouse Jury Assembly Room. It's in the amount of $337,275 per State of Kansas Contract 57377. Mr. Barron, back to present this item. Thank you, Mr. Barron.
Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. Tony Barron, Director of Facilities Management. Yes, the jury assembly room is located, as you know, on the second floor of the courthouse and is a primary meeting space for our jury selection process. As noted in the background of the briefing sheet, DTI and facility staff has studied options to improve the audiovisual technology in this room. The current technology in the space was implemented when the building was opened during the COVID pandemic. Since that time, AV equipment and technology has changed from a hardware standpoint and how it is used by organizations. The proposed upgrades will enhance the voir dire process for large jury cases, hybrid meetings, training events, and will allow the space to be utilized as a secondary meeting location for Board of County Commission meetings if needed. It does have higher capacity than the current room we're standing in. For budgetary purposes, DTI conducted an informal selection process and invited 3 vendors who are currently on a cooperative purchasing agreement to participate. Per county policy, cooperative procurements allows county departments to utilize this competitively solicited contracts with a cooperative clause. No additional funding is being requested at this time. Today's request is for contract authorization with Mission Electronics, Inc., so that DTI and facility staff can move forward with Mission Electronics to finalize construction documents and schedules. I will stand for questions.
Mr. Barron, thank you very much for being here. Obviously, these improvements help make the room more usable for the county. Not having been part of the process when the building was designed and constructed, is the reason that these improvements are contemplated now as opposed to when we built the jury assembly room?
Yeah, we had technology that was considered good at the time when we opened, I think 2019, 2020. As you know, as we progressed through times of 20 and 21, when hybrid meetings, hybrid conferences, training events have just changed since then. So we were going to do what we want to do is upgrade the technology. We will still use some existing components as part of that upgrade, but we want to make it more functional for the needs of the county and the needs of the district courts.
I appreciate that. Commissioner Allenbrand,
Chair, I have a motion when you're ready.
we'll come back to you for that. Commissioner Ashcraft.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to your question, that's a very good space, but in terms of having large numbers of people in there, the managing of the sound system became problematic, and I commend staff for looking at this and trying to find a solution, and also as a backup location. Hopefully that won't be necessary, but I know it makes sense because we looked at jury rooms possibly, and that space was just problematic on various different levels. But I had 2 questions, Mr. Chair. The first is a procedural question. In the past, it seems like items like this went through the BOCC agenda first. Is there a reason, am I recalling that incorrectly? Is there a reason why we didn't go to the BOCC first? And I know that's kind of been procedural in the past, but I just was wondering if that was anything particular we're doing it this way.
Not to my knowledge. Mr. Barron, if you could comment on that, or if you have an opinion on that.
I can speak to that, and I would ask for maybe Leslie from Budget to help me if I need help on this. So this project is within this budget authorization is within the courthouse project that has already been budget authorized by the BOCC and passed to the PBC, and that's why we're not requesting any additional funds. Okay. We're strictly here for contract.
And that's a fair response. I just didn't want us to have this, some procedural mishap because we didn't do it a particular way, so fair enough. The poignant question, though, Mr. Barron, is I understand the process you went through and 3 vendors that you outreached, but how do we know that this vendor represents the best value for this expenditure? Were they all the same price and this vendor just had a better smile? And I know I'm being a little flippant, but I don't see within the briefing sheet the value proposition.
Right, yeah, and value, as you know, Commissioner Ashcraft, value looks different for different people, right? And so what we're looking at here is the value of this from a financial standpoint is probably more along the lines of time spent with staff to develop specifications and bid documents for an IFB. And as far as the competitive process has already been vetted through the state Kansas contract. So from a financial standpoint, we feel like by tagging on to the state of Kansas contract that other people have already done that work ahead of us. From a value standpoint, Mission Electronics was part of they've already been in that building. They already know the components. They're familiar with the makeup and the brands of the audiovisual equipment in there, and hence why we feel there is value in having them come back to upgrade the project.
Go ahead.
One follow-on. Let me reframe my question. So you got proposals, cost estimates from all 3 vendors, and this vendor was the best?
So I was not part of that process. DTI conducted that selection process. If you're wanting more details, I can do two things here. We can ask them to step to the podium, or we can follow up with you with information.
Well,
at a later
I
time.
just don't see it within the briefing sheet. So
Right.
some clarification, Mr. Chairman, would be beneficial for me if I may.
Appreciate that.
I may ask Scott Holbert to come up. He has more details on that process.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Scott Hurworth, DTI. The process was to go through, we had, like the RFPs or RFIs, we had standards that we needed, specifications that were requested, sent it out to various vendors. We had three reply back. Mission Electronics came in at the lower price, but met the requirements that we needed, and we felt that was the best option.
So they did come into the lower price?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just did not see that in the briefing sheet.
Yes, sir.
So was it significantly lower?
Based upon my memory, it was a margin.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Brewer.
Thank you. I'm probably going to have a question, Mr. Barron, along the same lines. My first question as Commissioner Ashcraft. I'm comfortable with that we have qualified vendor processes, right, for certain types of projects that we do, where we know the list of those vendors, they know, be it the building, the technology, or the need, and we've done all the pre-qualification. And so when we do the informal bid, we have the list we can go directly to. I probably would be on the same maybe pathway as Commissioner Ashcraft, that maybe still preferring that grid to be in the briefing sheet that just shows the rubric on the decision-making. I think if I'm interpreting what Commissioner Ashcraft, and maybe I'm over-interpreting what he's wanting, I would say that that would be what I would like to see, is still that rubric, because I think in other projects where we have pre-qualified vendors and we do this process, we still, from time to time, have dropped that in there just to kind of see the metrics and how the decision was made, kind of how the sausage is being made. My second question is, certainly understand when you have a new building and new space, what looks to be the right fit, the right volume of technology, the right platform of technology. Two things happen. You use the room and you find out things, and technology changes over time, sometimes quicker, sometimes slower. So this is going to be a very subjective question. What would you guys like to see the life of the new technology be? Is that a 5-year life? Is that a beyond 5 years? When you think of that approach to the updates, what's the thought process?
I will bring back the subject matter expert for that one. Scott and his team are well qualified to answer that question.
Thank you.
Commissioner, you're correct. There is a life cycle for technology. Sometimes it booms, sometimes it moves slowly. We estimated like a 7-year lifespan for most of the technology. We're running into that time frame currently with the courthouse, and I expect about 7 to 8 years for this additional technology to be its lifespan.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Barron. I just wanted to ask if you could give us some idea of, compare the size of that room to this room. I've not been in that jury room in the new courthouse, and I'm just wanting to know what
the difference
what
would
the
be, yeah.
capacity is compared to here.
I'll talk occupant space probably is my primary driver here. We believe we could fit an additional comfortably 100 people in that room versus this room. So we're looking at that. Square footage wise, it's probably, it's more than half the size of this room from a square footage standpoint. So we feel our occupant load will be right around 160 in that space if we were to set it up that way.
Great, thank you.
All right. Commissioner Allen Brandon, coming back to you for the motion on this one.
Thank you, Chair. I move to authorize a contract with Mission Electronics, Inc. for the purchase of audiovisual equipment and services for the Johnson County Courthouse Jewelry Assembly Room in the amount of $337,275 per State of Kansas contract 57377.
Brewer, second.
So moved by Commissioner Allen Brand, seconded by Commissioner Brewer. A further question or a thought from Commissioner Ashcraft?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Commissioner Brewer, I wanted to assure you that your thinking was right. I appreciated that summation. I find this briefing sheet wanting. The project itself, I understand. I'm supportive of that effort forward. I think it's an appropriate use of those funds. But because I find the briefing sheet wanting in terms of adequately explaining, not just to me, but to the general public, my vote will reflect that concern.
Commissioner Ashcraft, I can appreciate that sentiment to a point. Given that now we have these briefing sheets, an additional 8 days in advance, for a total of 10 days before the meeting, I'd implore us to reach out to staff, and if there's something that's wanting in a briefing sheet, let's get that addressed and let's get it updated, as opposed to using this as a forum to either criticize staff publicly or to take a burn vote against an item which you otherwise support. Let's try to do better about that and getting the better information to the public so we can have joint wins on this moving forward. So maybe that's just a challenge we can have for ourselves moving forward.
For the record, Mr. Chairman, I did reach out to staff.
Okay. Well, and then this is a conversation not just for you, but it is for staff. And so if there is additional information that is available, let's get that out there. Let's work together so we can all support good efforts. All right. There's a motion. There's a second. There are no further questions at this time. Let's have the clerk call the roll.
Commissioner Fast.
Aye.
Commissioner Myers.
Myers, aye.
Commissioner Brewer.
Brewer, aye.
Commissioner Hanslick.
Hanslick, aye.
Commissioner Ashcraft.
No.
Commissioner Allenbrand.
Allenbrand, aye.
Chairman Kelly.
Aye, that's 6 in favor and 1 against. Is that consistent with your count?
It is.
Very good. Mr. Bannon, thank you very much. Thank you. That concludes the items on our printed agenda for the PBC today. We will now adjourn. We're going to meet downstairs in about 10 minutes to start on our study sessions. We'll start with housing first and then communications. But this PBC meeting is now adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Mike, I did ask specifically